Hello, my sweet book besties. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brianna, and today I am doing a 24-hour reading challenge. Also, ignore if I sound a little not myself. I think I'm coming down with something. My throat is really killing me. So, I mean, that's a good excuse to cozy up with books for 24 hours. I am going to be breaking up the 24 hours between a few days because I will never ever pull an all-nighter in my whole life. Like, that literally sounds miserable to me as someone who already has sleeping problems. Like, I go to bed and shoot to get 8 hours of sleep, and I probably get 5 to 6. So there's no way I am sacrificing my sleep for books, okay? So what this whole reading challenge is I will start a timer on my phone for 24 hours, and I am going to try to read as much as possible in those 24 hours. I think the only time I will pause the timer is to eat and sleep. And also I might, when I have a bunch of work to do tomorrow, like tomorrow I have to film a podcast episode, I have to film and edit another YouTube video, so like my work day is going to be pretty full tomorrow, so I'm like, I might just take majority of the day off tomorrow and then continue this reading challenge into the next day as well. I'm going to have this timer going constantly, and that is just going to motivate me to read as much as possible. I did a 12-hour readathon back in February, and I think I got 3 books read that day, so obviously I'm shooting to read probably like 5 this video, I'm guessing. I don't know, it really depends on like the books that I pick, how long they are, like how simple of reads they are. And for this first book, I already started it. I'm about 100 pages into it. It is 1 Week Later by K.J. McKeish. This is a little rom-com. It's only about 300 pages, so I only have 200 more to go, so this probably will not take me that long to finish up. And this is like an enemies / rivals to lovers second chance romance. Basically, the main character that we're following, her name is Melody, and 2 years ago on vacation she met Nash, and they had this like whirlwind of a romance on vacation together. And then he ended up ghosting her. There was some like lack of communication, probably on both ends to be honest, and they never spoke to each other again, even though they had like fallen for each other over that week of vacation. And then Melody and Nash both wrote the same book about each other. Obviously not like the same exact book, but they both wrote a book, a romance book, and it was the same exact story. So now, like, Melody is being accused of plagiarizing Nash's book, so they're going to try to, like, clear her name and do this interview together. So now they're, like, having to reconnect after they, like, hate each other because of whatever miscommunication happened. Honestly, I am, like, the #1 hater of a miscommunication trope, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to love that whole reveal and the whole explanation for that, but it is pretty interesting so far. Definitely not like my favorite rom-com ever. I feel like it's definitely a little bit slower to get into, and honestly I just like don't really care that much. You also do have dual timeline, which is nice, but I feel like it is broken up into weird chunks because like one chapter you'll have Melody in the present, the next chapter you'll have Melody and Nash like together in the past, and then another chapter you'll have Melody like reading a segment of Nash's book, and it's just like, it does feel very choppy, but I think it's gonna be a cute story overall. So yeah, this is the first book I am going to be starting the 24-hour readathon with. And also to kind of like help me still read even as I'm doing other things, like say today I have laundry to do and like I'm gonna cook dinner later, I am also listening to an audiobook, so if I do like end up listening to that in this video at all, obviously I'll give you updates on that book as well. I suppose we can just start this timer. So yeah, I'm gonna start the timer. I'm gonna go make a coffee because I need to be fueled for this. And then I'm gonna sit down and finish 1 week later, hopefully. Started. Oh, look at that. This is crazy. I've never done a 24-hour readathon before. Let's get reading. Alrighty, I finished 1 week later. I have been reading in bed for a majority of the time. I will be honest with you guys, the timer is at about 21 hours left, so a little under 3 hours that I spent today. But it is 1 o'clock, so here's the thing. I did have to go grocery shopping. I was not sure how long that was gonna take me, and just like driving to the store, driving back, unloading the groceries, putting groceries away. Like, honestly did not know how long that was gonna take me. So I paused the timer, right? But somehow, somewhere along the way, it got unpaused. So then when I was like ready to, you know, like pause it again, or I mean unpause it, I actually like paused it again. So I don't really know what happened like with that whole situation. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So the timing might be a little bit skewed. But I did finish 1 week later, and this did actually have like a very, very sweet and emotional ending. It definitely had some more depth that I was really hoping for, so I really, really enjoyed that aspect of the book. I mean, the whole reason that Melody is even on vacation is she goes with her mom because her mom just got diagnosed with heart failure, so they're going on a vacation together. That is where she meets Nash, which his name is Beckett Nash, but in her book that she wrote, she named his character Nash, so that's why I was calling him Nash. Anywhoza, she's on vacation with her mom, and obviously it's very, very emotional that her mom has this diagnosis and the prognosis, and this is kind of like their last trip together, so very, very sad and heavy. But, you know, Nash was like the sunshine for her during that time, and her mom was very, very, like pushy almost toward it. She's like, you go have fun with that boy. Like, I want you to enjoy your time. I don't want you to be like stuck with me this whole time. So that's what happened. You know, they were on this trip together for a week, and they had this insane love story, and then like this ghosting kind of happened between both of them because of that miscommunication. But I will say the miscommunication was not just like, I feel like a lot of romance books these days do like a copy paste miscommunication trope, and I hate it. So it was nothing like that whatsoever. Like, that's usually in every other romance book out there on the market. So I can actually appreciate the miscommunication trope in this book for once, because it does make sense why the miscommunication happened. But also, like, it was a little bit outlandish, but also it's a work of fiction, so it's okay if it's gonna be a little bit outlandish. So it definitely like was not as bad of a miscommunication trope as I was anticipating, thankfully. And yeah, it was just a sweet romance. There was a very, very sweet and just like, I don't know, it had me swooning. Grand gesture, or like proclamation of love, which I always love to see in books. I think I'm gonna go with a 3.5 star rating on this. I had a really great time with it, but it's by no means like my favorite romance. I do feel like I had a little bit of a hard time connecting with the characters and like getting attached to them and their romance, especially because their romance only takes place over the span of a week. So it's like, it's very, very fast paced, but it was just like, I don't know, not enough for me to like be in love with them as a couple. And then the ending also very, very unrealistic, but again, it's a work of fiction, so it's okay if it wants to be unrealistic. It is a little bit spicy. I think I would definitely recommend this if you're just looking for a very, very quick, because it's quite short, and fast-paced romance. Now, just for a palette cleanser, because the book I'm listening to on audio is also a romance, and I might listen to some of that tonight, I am probably going to read something on Kindle Unlimited, like a thriller or something, like just a super quick, honestly maybe Frida McFadden, because that would be super quick and easy, and again like a palette cleanser before I jump into either another romance or like a romantasy. Let's see, I have just over, what is that, 21 hours left. So it's been like 3-ish hours of the time going. Again, I'm not entirely sure what happened with the whole pausing of the time and unpausing it and then pausing it again accidentally. Like I truly do not know. My head is definitely a little bit scatterbrained lately. I have not been feeling the best, aside from the sore throat I woke up with today. I'm just trying my best, you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go pick out probably a book to read on my Kindle for a little while. Hi friends, it has been a rough 24 to 48 hours. Honestly, I did not know if I was going to be in the right headspace to finish this 24-hour reading challenge right now, but I feel like I need to just like jump back into the normal, and the normal for me is creating content, and this is the video I'm in the middle of, so that's what I need to do. I do have the timer paused as we kind of catch up. As you can see, 9 hours 58 minutes left on the timer, which I think last I showed you, we were in the teens because I had just finished The Intruder by Frida McFadden, which I will talk about here in a minute. Yesterday, majority of the day, I was working, and when I wasn't working, I was listening to my audiobook, so that is why the timer is down. I look like a wreck, just ignore my appearance. And then after I got done working yesterday, I actually didn't even get like half my work done because I had a little bit of a medical crisis, and then that medical crisis continued into today, and it is now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am just kind of getting my day back on track. That's that. So we have been doing this 24-hour reading challenge for a hot minute. The only other time I've really stopped the timer is when I'm working, when I am eating, and when I'm sleeping. So I have been very distracted by just what's been going on with me, so that's why I have not been getting in as much reading during this 24-hour reading challenge that I would have liked. In the future, if I do this challenge, I might just split it up. Like I might just do 2 12-hour timers. I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I definitely want to do this video again because I feel like I need a redemption video, because I feel like I am just not myself. I'm not 100%. I don't really feel like reading, but again, because of what I'm going through right now, I kind of just like want to throw myself back into reading and into my normal, which is being a book content creator, and obviously I cannot be a book content creator if I don't read. So, and I do love reading. I love discovering new stories. I love reading about characters who can help me out of times like this. So that is what I'm trying to do. Is the rest of this video gonna be very pretty? Probably not. I'm probably gonna be bedridden most of the time because, oh yeah, on top of like everything else going on, I was advised to basically just like stay in bed and let my body rest, and that is probably what I'll continue doing tonight. At least tomorrow I want to try and be up and at 'em a little bit more, but yeah, probably sounds super vague. I'm not trying to come off that way. I just don't really want to talk about it because I still have not processed it, and I can hardly even talk about it without breaking down crying. Maybe I'll share my story one day, but as for right now, that is just going to be something I keep personal to me. It's definitely impacting my mood, clearly, and impacting my productivity, just impacting everything really. But I'm trying to get back on track, and I'm trying to continue reading tonight, at least for a little bit. Let's talk about The Intruder by Frida McFadden. You guys, I literally read this in one sitting. It took me 3 to 4 hours to read. It was a super quick and easy thriller, exactly what I count on Frida McFadden for. So it did just the trick as working as like a little buffer palette cleanser, because I had just finished 1 week later, which was a romance, and then I knew I kind of wanted to continue my audiobook, which was another romance, so I kind of wanted to break up the romance a little bit, and The Intruder did just that. I had a great time with this one. I feel like I'm remembering negative reviews about this book when it came out, which, like, is it Frida's best work? No, but it was still a good, enjoyable time, okay? Kind of like most Frida McFadden books, you have a dual POV. The first POV that we see is a woman named Casey. She is living in this cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and there's this big storm coming up, so she has her landlord over to basically like look at the roof because there's a big storm coming and she doesn't trust the roof. And the landlord does nothing. He's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to like hold down the fort and stay here and hope nothing is damaged in the storm. And Casey's like, okay. So then the storm starts and there is an intruder, a young girl, at Casey's cabin. And Casey, being like a decent person, is like, oh my gosh, this child needs to stay with me. Like, I can't just let them go back out there in the storm. But things with this child are a little bit creepy. Casey definitely feels like something is off. She doesn't feel like she's 100% safe with this girl in her house. And the other POV is like a middle school aged girl. She is being raised by a single mother. It's just not a good environment whatsoever. She gets in trouble at school a lot. And yeah, really interesting. Like, I shouldn't say always, but with this book, like, it started with Casey's chapter and I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna be following Casey for majority of the book, it seems like. No, we actually followed the girl, this teenager. She's like 13, 14. We are following her majority of the book, I would say, and I actually loved that. Like, at first I was like, yeah, give me some Casey chapters, like I'm liking this vibe. But then it got to a point where I was like, no, give me more of the girls' chapters, because like Casey's chapters just kind of felt like filler chapters to me at a point. So yeah, this was a very bingeable book. I did not put it down. Like I said, I literally read it in one sitting. It probably took me around 3.5 hours to read it, so not bad. Ended up giving it a 4-star rating. I really enjoyed the plot twists. I will say, I feel like Frida McFadden at this point has like a basic formula down for her books, and she always uses the same formula now, like A plus B equals C. Like, she's always doing the same formula, I feel like, these days, but they're still twisty. Even if she does have like a predictable formula, I feel like she still does the twists really well. And then, just like most Frida McFadden books, just when you think you read the major plot twist, then she'll hit you with another plot twist later. So I definitely enjoyed this one. And then the book that I have been listening to on audio, but now honestly I'll probably just switch over to like reading the physical copy, just because like I know I can read way faster than listening to the audiobook. I mean, I could turn the audiobook to like 2x speed, but I feel like I would rather just like read the physical book at this point, because I'm about halfway through, and it is the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. This is book 2 in the little Friend Zone trilogy. So I'm not gonna say names of these characters because I don't want to like give any spoilers. I'll just give you like a basic rundown of what the book is about. It is a dual POV romance. The female main character has just experienced a very tragic loss a few years ago of her significant other. She is just kind of like going through the motions. She is obviously very depressed. She doesn't really feel like she has anything to live for. One day when she is driving to the grave of her significant other, she almost runs over a dog. That dog then ends up jumping into into the sunroof of her car. She tries to get in touch with the owner, who is the male main character of the book. Doesn't have luck for a while because he is actually like a famous singer on tour or something. Then when they finally do come in contact with each other, they just like strike up conversation, kind of strike up a friendship, and then eventually he asks her on a date. Now, this is very, very hard for her because she feels guilty almost, but also like she does not want to stop living. So I am really enjoying this book so far. Literally like the first few chapters, I was crying my eyes out because it was so sad. Like her talking about the loss of her significant other, like that hit me hard, okay? The spice is ramping up a little bit, which I feel like Abby Jimenez usually does a good job with her spice. And I love how Abby Jimenez can work in very, very tragic topics just into like a beautiful romance story. Also love the Minnesota representation in her book. The male main character in this book is from Minnesota originally. The characters were just visiting Minnesota. So I love that as a Minnesota girly, obviously. Also, I am most definitely a cat person. I like dogs, but I prefer cats 110%. But the dog in this book is so cute. It reminds me of my dog that I had growing up. I don't know if it's because like the dog in the book is also a hunting dog, which I had a yellow lab growing up who was a hunting dog. So it's like, I don't know if that's what's going on, but a really, really cute doggo in this book. So this is what I'm going to try to read and just take my mind off of things for a little while. It is the next day and I have finished the Happy Ever After playlist. I'm not gonna lie, I have been in the kitchen majority of the day. It is a little bit after 5 o'clock and when I haven't been like cooking or baking today, I have been reading. So I've been stopping the timer anytime I'm not reading because those are really the only things I'm doing, cooking or reading. Last night was an early night. I was just like mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. So I did read a good little chunk last night and then obviously finished it up today. And the timer is going down. We have 8 hours and 21 minutes left. So let's talk about this quickly and then get into my next book quickly. Also, ignore the appearance. I am well aware I look like trash. It's been a rough few days. This book has honestly helped me so much. You know, when they say like a book can find you at the perfect moment, and some books are like right book, wrong time. I feel like this book found me at the perfect moment. Even though I started it like a week or two ago, I started listening to the audio, but then I finished up the last half in the last 24 hours. And what the female main character goes through and what she basically like realizes, I feel like just hit so hard, because not that what me and the main character are going through is the same thing, but kind of just like the same idea that you need to keep living. Like things will get you down, but you decide if you are going to let that thing continue to drag you down or if you are going to keep moving forward. And that hit me, and I wanted to cry when I read it, and now just like saying it again, I want to cry. So obviously that resonated very, very deeply with me, and I feel like this book was just the perfect thing that I needed today. I don't know if that's like God watching out for me and sending me this book to finish at this time in my life when obviously he knows what I'm going through and how he maybe thought this book could help me. I don't know. It's just kind of where my brain goes to, is like, yeah, God knew I would need something to pick me up and something with a good message. And that's the message I got out of this book, and I loved it. This continues following the female main character and the male main character. They are trying to navigate this new relationship. Obviously, the female main character, she was in a past relationship, and now she feels very, very guilty being in a new relationship, but like she still loves this new relationship. She's trying to navigate that, and she's trying to live life to the fullest. She's trying to like say yes to everything, because for the last few years she just has not been living. So she's trying to live again. She's trying to just do what makes her happy, and like in the moment being with her new partner is what makes her happy. But they definitely have to navigate a lot of struggles, because he is a very, very famous musician on tour, and she is not like a famous person. So obviously their lifestyle is very different. That dynamic is very, very different. And there is a lot of drama that gets brought up, and she is kind of like, I don't really know if I want this drama to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. So that has their relationship like kind of on the rocks. But I think that both the characters were able to do mostly the right things. I will say I was pretty annoyed with the male main character a few times, just because of the way he handled the situation. Like, definitely could have been better, but it wasn't the worst. And just seeing like how they love so just fiercely, and like they're not afraid to, because the female main character has experienced loss. The male main character, you know, knows what she went through. So they are like not afraid to hold back and, like I said, just like live life to the fullest with each other every day. And I feel like it's not common in a lot of romance books for there not to be like any hesitation. Like, I feel like in a lot of romance books, it's kind of like tiptoeing around the idea of being together. But in this book, they just like want to be with each other as much as possible. So I thought that was really, really refreshing to read about. I loved the friendships in this. I loved the romance, obviously. I'm gonna go with a 4.5 star rating. I adored this book. I definitely liked this one a lot more than The Friend Zone. I just really liked these characters more. I liked their relationship more. Definitely has some like third act conflict, and that's really where I didn't like the book. And also the male main character, it does seem like he's love bombing the female main character a little bit at times, but also like he's a rich famous musician. Like, yeah, he's gonna spoil her. So I don't really know if it's like love bombing, but such a sweet love story. The epilogue also hit me hard, as you saw. I literally cannot wait to read the final book in this little trilogy after reading this one, because this one, oh my gosh, that's the thing about Abby Jimenez books that I was talking about. Like, she knows how to write a good romance while still having so much emotional depth within it and such serious topics of discussion in them as well. So I would definitely recommend this book. And the next book that I actually started a little bit, I think I got like 50 pages into it, and then things started not going well in my life. I put that down. I picked up the Abby Jimenez because I just like could not focus on a fantasy book, and that is Stolen Midnights by Catherine Quinn. This is a YA romantasy. Honestly, not entirely sure what the whole premise is gonna be. I guess I'm only like 40 pages in, but the female main character, Ren, in her family, I think, what did they say, on the 18th birthday? Yeah, so on the 18th birthday of people in this family or something, they are supposed to receive like this magical gift. Well, Ren's 18th birthday comes and she does not receive her gift, but it's because the male main character, Damien, like stole her gift before it was delivered to her. They're supposed to be delivered at literally midnight on your birthday, which is Stolen Midnights, and Damien was like staking out so he could steal it before it was able to be delivered to Ren. And yeah, it's giving like high society, like Regency era almost. Like, it's really reminding me of Bridgerton. I don't know if that's because my husband and I just started watching season 4 of Bridgerton as I started reading this, so I don't know if that's why I'm kind of like getting a little bit of Bridgerton vibes, but it's really just like Regency era vibes, like the courting and the like balls and everything. So that's all I really know and all I'm really going off of at this point. I'll probably update you guys when I'm at like the halfway point. If I have like a little bit more information I can give you about what the book's about without any spoilers. We're probably gonna have like enemies to lovers on our hands because Damien stole Ren's gift and this has kind of made her like a burden to her family, or a curse, as Ren said. So we'll see if I can get into this a little bit more today. I have about 8 hours and 13 minutes left, so I think we will definitely be able to read this because it's only like 400 some pages, like 450 pages. I can do it. So probably see you with an update. As you saw, I just finished Stolen Midnights. I have about 4.5 hours left on the timer. And no, I did not give an update in the middle of the book because honestly, like I was just so in the zone reading this. Like whenever I had the chance to pick it up and read, I just could not put it down for that whole time. Like the time allotment I had given myself to read the book, I couldn't put it down. It just sucks you in. It is such a quick, simple read, but I just love the vibes of it. I will get into more of it. Very, very quick and easy to read, super fast paced, so it's like you can literally breeze through this book. So whenever I did have a chance to pick it up, I would just sit there and like binge read for as long as I could before I had to go do something else. So I apologize for not really giving an update, but now here you get like all of my final thoughts after finishing it. Wow, I don't know why I'm like so impressed by this because I've read another duology by this author before and I loved that. This was just like different vibes because I read To Kill a Shadow by this author and that one's more like a dark gothic fantasy almost. It kind of reminds me of like One Dark Window, like those vibes, but this is a lot more like whimsical and magical feeling. Like was definitely giving me those Bridgerton vibes still, like make it a little bit dark but still like very, very whimsical. Honestly, a lot like Once Upon a Broken Heart, which that is one of my favorite trilogies. So obviously like if this book kind of reminds me of that, yeah, I'm gonna love it. So Ren and Damien end up having to work together almost because Ren, you know, Damien stole her gift and this gift was a locket, but Damien's picture was inside the locket, so they are like tied together for some reason. Now Ren does not know this, but she like hires Damien because he is a thief, so she hires him to help her find who stole her gift. So Damien is kind of like playing dumb because he's like the one that stole the gift, right? But they are uncovering a lot of secrets that are like being hidden within this world because in this world there are the 3 fates and the fates are like the ones who grant magic and everything. So obviously Ren did not receive her gift from the fates, so she thinks like something's going on there. So while her and Damien are kind of playing like almost this game of cat and mouse, they uncover a lot of secrets within a lot of different people, honestly. So that was really, really fun. But yeah, I just loved the like whimsical vibes. This is the perfect fantasy, I feel like, to read in the springtime, getting into summertime, because it's not like dark fantasy vibes. The romance is really, really sweet. It's definitely like attraction at first sight, but it's like slow burn romance. But yeah, just look at this cover, just look at the sprayed edges, like that's perfect. And the title tie-in at the end of the book, no, cut the cameras. I love when a book, like the title is somewhere within the book and like has a meaning, and it does in this book, okay? It does. So that hit me kind of hard. Once again, I feel like this was just kind of the perfect book that I needed at the moment because it is so immersive. Like, it literally takes me out of what I'm currently living and into a new world, so I can very much appreciate that. So safe to say, I would definitely recommend this book. I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating, which is what I've rated the other books by this author as well. So like, they're all good, they're all solid books. I feel like I can't say too much more without like spoiling any of the plot, but like the twists at the end I kind of saw coming, but how it all played out was a lot different than what I was expecting, and like the epilogue made me mad. I always say when a book can evoke such emotions from me, I know it's well written. So definitely well written. Like, that's the thing, it's very, very simple writing that you can pick up and just fly through, but like the plot and everything is still there. Like, the quality of the book is still there. And I love that it's YA, so it's like not spicy. Like, yes, things were alluded to and mentioned, but it's like closed door, which I really, really prefer in my fantasy books. I don't know. I thought this was a fantastic book though. Definitely glad I picked it up. And now I think since we only have a little bit under 4.5 hours now, I will just be reading one more book. So I need to pick that out, figure out what I'm kind of in the mood for right now. So let's shift over so you can see my monthly TBR. See, we've read a few romances, I've read a thriller, I've read a fantasy now. So I'm thinking maybe like contemporary fiction or like a women's fiction. I don't know. Let's see the options that I have on my monthly TBR. No Matter What by Cara Stone. This is her newest release, and this one I think like definitely has romance in it, but it is like categorized as a fiction book. And this one's more interesting for like the romance part of it because it's about a married couple like on the brink of a divorce. So obviously the romance is not like your general romance that you usually see in books. So I think it's going to be much more focused on like the individual character growth and development rather than the romance. Like, yeah, the romance, or I won't say romance, but like the relationship probably has a big part of the book, but that might not be what we're focusing on per se. And if we are focusing on it a little bit more, it's not going to read like a regular romance. So I think this one could be interesting. I love Cara Stone's writing, and I do want to annotate this one. I think I could definitely get this done because it's about 300 pages. It might take me a little bit longer just because I do want to annotate it. This is a good contender. I also have Theo of Golden on my April TBR, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to tackle this one today. How many pages? Oh, this one's almost 400 pages it looks like. I'm not sure if I could finish this in like 4-ish hours. So we might have to take this one out. And then The Best Worst Thing. I think this one might be like romance, but I feel like it's going to read more so like a women's fiction because this one, again, like it starts with the couple, things aren't going well. And this one, I think the female main character is struggling with infertility, and I don't know how I'm gonna do with that topic emotionally right now, so I don't know if this is the best, but the couple is like on the rocks because then the female main character finds out her husband's cheating on her. So again, like, yes, there's going to be romance in it because I think she meets another man and like starts a romantic relationship with him, but it's definitely not going to be your average romance because like things are messy, people are breaking up, people are getting divorced. I don't know why I'm laughing about that because like that's sad. I think I'm gonna go with No Matter What because I don't think I can handle this one right now, and I just don't think I'll finish Theo of Golden in time. So No Matter What is going to be the last book we are finishing off this video with. Let's pick out some annotation supplies and get reading. Well, let's start talking about No Matter What, because the clock is ticking down. I have about 2 hours and 20 minutes left. I have about half of the book left. I think we can do it, but it's gonna be a little bit of a time crunch. I can't believe this 24-hour reading challenge has taken me like a week. That's just my life currently, okay? But you know what? We are seeing truly how many books I can read or how much I can read in 24 hours still. So I'm still doing the challenge. This book is about a married couple, Roz and Vin. They were in some sort of accident, and now a year later is when things are really rocky in their relationship. They just feel like they've kind of grown apart, and that this accident that happened has really changed their lives, and they don't know just like how to be each other anymore, and they don't know like how to be there for each other. We don't know exactly what the accident is, but we are getting like little snippets of it and getting more information like as the book goes on. Obviously it was a very, very traumatic experience for them, so they are literally like on the brink of divorce. Like Vin is moving out soon. They aren't really like talking, communicating, doing anything together, and it's really sad. They're both doing different classes. Like Roz is doing this art class, and then Vin is doing this writing class, and I love when we get to see little snippets of like Vin's writing class, because that's really the only time we get to see like his POV, and it is just so sweet because everything he writes about and talks about is Roz, and like just him explaining in his own words how he loves her, and it's just so sweet, but again like so sad because like we know now where they are as a couple and their relationship, and it is not going well, and like I said, they just don't know like how to be there for each other and communicate their feelings anymore after this accident. I'm really excited to find out like the whole ordeal with this accident. I'm almost getting like the full picture, but still there has to be more like underlying things within this accident. But yeah, Roz is just kind of to the point now where she's like, I'm gonna live my life like no matter what, whether you're in it or you're not. And Vin, I think, I don't want to say for sure because I don't know for sure how he's feeling, but I feel like he might think he is like dragging Roz down, and I think he wants her to just live her life to the fullest, especially after this terrible accident that like was life-threatening. So he's like, yes, I'm happy that you want to live and go on living no matter what, but I'm scared. Like I don't want them to break up, because the snippets I've gotten into like the good parts of their relationship is just so sweet. It's such a tender romance, so I need them to find that again. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely slow. Honestly, I do not really enjoy the chapters where Roz is like in the art class. I just don't really like any of the characters in that group. I don't know. I just don't really care about the friendship. It's not even like a friendship because these people are kind of strangers, but like I don't care about that. I don't care about these random characters. Like I want to be more focused on the major conflict within their relationship and not these random side characters that we see like every few chapters. So those kind of take me out, but like I love when Roz and Vin actually like have a deep connection and they are trying to communicate their feelings and like work through this, but then it's like they kind of stop because they remember this accident and how much it changed them, and it's like they're not really working through the accident, which is frustrating to read about, especially like myself after starting therapy and how much it's helped me. And then these characters are like, well, should I go to therapy? Like yes, you obviously should. So it's just kind of frustrating to read about that when they like know they are altered from this accident, but they're not like taking the steps to like process it and work through it. I would love to see if that happens eventually. And yeah, let's see if I can finish this in about 2 hours. I finished No Matter What with about 8 minutes left to spare. What you just saw was my reaction to the last chapter of the book. Definitely had me a bit emotional because the characters were just talking about like the significance of each other in their lives, and what they would do for each other. And yeah, obviously can't say everything without giving too much away, but it definitely had me in my feels. It definitely had me thinking about my own husband a lot, our own marriage, and how, you know, we feel about each other. And I don't know, I feel like Kara Bastone did a really great job putting into words that love and just like that feeling you have for your person in just a different way that I've never really thought about, like throughout the whole book. And it did expand upon the whole like therapy journey and PTSD journey and how you try to go on living your life after a terrible event. So I do love that that representation was in there. It took a hot minute to really get to that and really like dig down into how these characters are feeling and how they are dealing with this and what they are trying to implement every single day to help them get through this a little bit better and just like come to acceptance that this is their new life and this is how they have to live now because of an event that changed their life forever. So I did really love that. Some things that I didn't love, I touched on this a little bit earlier. I don't really love Roz's like art group. I like that she found art as a way to like express herself after a traumatic event. I just don't really care for like the people that she was meeting and like talking to, and I was like, why are we wasting space with these characters when I would much rather see her interacting with either Vin or his brother, who is her best friend. Another thing that I did not love, the miscommunication in this is just like so stupid in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's really, really hard to talk about hard things like traumatic events and like hard feelings. Yeah, it's hard to talk about, but like literally all that needed to be said was one sentence, maybe even like 5 words. 5 words is all it would have took, and the whole miscommunication of the book could have been avoided, and this whole like falling out in their marriage could have been avoided. So that was very, very frustrating. And yeah, I think could have been handled a lot better, especially because these characters are in their late 30s. Like, they're almost 40 years old. They need to know how to communicate. So did not love the whole miscommunication there. Okay, I don't really remember where exactly I was at. I don't know what was going on, but my camera decided to start zooming in by itself. It was literally like there was a ghost like pushing down on the zoom button, because I would zoom it back out and then immediately it would zoom back in all of the way. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't really remember where I was at talking about this, but I did enjoy it. I think I'm gonna go with a 3.5 star rating. Definitely not my favorite. It was really sweet. It definitely had me emotional. Like that last chapter, it had me laughing while I was also crying. It just felt like a very, very real relationship at a lot of points, I guess. Definitely not my favorite Kara Bastone. I think my ranking is Ready or Not, #1, No Matter What, #2. And this is probably really controversial, but Promise Me Sunshine is #3. Not that I didn't like Promise Me Sunshine. I think I also gave Promise Me Sunshine 3 or 3.5 stars. I don't know. I feel like Kara Bastone got it right the first time, but she's kind of strayed away from that since Ready or Not. The miscommunication would have made a little bit more sense. Okay, it probably would have gotten a higher rating, but that just like really irked me, and I just did not care for that. And yeah, so that is where we are ending this video, because I have 36 seconds left on the clock. I finished 5 books in 24 hours. I think that is really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel down below. I am going to try and redeem myself next time I film this video. Maybe I'll do another one next month for May. But this was really fun. Got a lot of books off my physical TBR this week. There's a timer. I will see you back in a few days with another video. Bye!